Hey everyone, this is Kim Quady with KimPlaysWithPaper.com. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mesa, Arizona, and I try to come live or present a video each week to show you what I've been working on in my craft room. And this month, of course, for me, it is Christmas in July. Hey Dawn, thanks for joining. So I have some fun cards today using something you can find in Stampin' Up's annual catalog. Hey Beth, thanks for joining. And I am using the Regal Reindeer stamp set and the reindeer dies. And I have kind of been using that all month for my lives in my classes. And I can tell you, I have not even scratched the surface of what I can make with it. I haven't even gotten to the reindeer stamp. So I hope you're excited. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you some of the card samples that I haven't had video or Facebook Live on, so you can get some ideas for this really fun stamp set. So today we're going to be doing some heat embossing. So hang tight. I will switch down to my work table, and you always get a shot of the ceiling fan because it's so cool here in Arizona. All right, the Regal Reindeer stamp set can be found on page 42 of Stampin' Up's annual catalog. Tomorrow, July 19th, stamp sets, just stamp sets, not bundles, not host sets or online exclusives. Hey, Sandy, thanks for joining. The stamp sets are 15% off tomorrow, but I love the fonts and the Peace on Earth and the Merry Christmas. There's also dies that are available with a lot of different options, so you'll have to take a look at that on page 42. All right, I'll show you the cards that I've created. I've been heat embossing up a storm, just kind of wild and crazy with it, and resurrecting a design from a couple of years ago. So here's the first one. It uses real red and gray granite with white heat embossing and a little strip of the Designer Series paper from the 6x6 Designer Series paper packs. Again, the white heat embossing, the Timber 3D embossing folder with that. I did one other version. I couldn't decide about the embossing folder, so I also used the painted texture 3D embossing folder, and I like that as well. So it's also real red gray granite with the white embossing powder. And I also love navy. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining. So I did one in Night of Navy as well. So there's the painted texture 3D embossing folder, the trees from the Regal Reindeer stamp set, the sentiment, along with some pearls. And again, this paper is from the Countryside Designer Series paper. All right, so let me give you some measurements and we'll do some heat embossing. I hope all is well in North Carolina today. All right, so let's start with our real red base. It is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Thanks to all of you who are watching, commenting, and sharing. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this Christmas in July. So I've scored that. I have a gray granite that is 5 1/4 by 4, and I did emboss that with the painted texture. I have another real red layer, and that measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Kind of layering it there. My gray granite is then 4 1/4 by 3, so that's the sheet we'll work with. I also have a piece for the inside. We can put some trees on the inside. And then the piece of Designer Series paper, it's just a small one. It's 3 3/4 by 3/4. Just adds a little bit of an accent to that. All right, I'll start with my gray granite piece. And I'm going to get my embossing buddy out. Hey, Kay, thanks for joining. Give it a good swipe with the embossing buddy. This is part of the Basics embossing kit, which is available through Stampin' Up. When you heat emboss, you do need to use the Versamark ink, and it's kind of a clear watermark ink. So sometimes when you stamp, you won't always see it. The embossing buddy gets the all the residue off of your sheet of paper. I think like if I put my fingerprint on there before I wipe it off, that you could actually emboss a fingerprint. But it gets all the goodies off, and it tries to keep it as clear as possible. So I've inked that up. I'm going to try to do both the trees and the sentiment at the same time. Good morning, Deb. All right, so that's going to go just right here in the middle. I mean, you can kind of see that, so that's very light, but it is on there. And then I'm using the Merry Christmas sentiment that I already have on a block, and I'm going to just set that in my little corner here. And I have my white embossing powder on a paper plate because my other tray is full with gold. Like I say, I've been just embossing everything in sight this week. All right, I need a little more on that S. Okay, and you can see I have a few little hangers on there. I'm just going to use that brush. That brush also comes with that embossing kit. Get any of the strays off of there, and I'll set that aside so I don't blow it all over the place. I think the last time I did one of these, I think I had embossing powder all over the place. I think I dumped it out. Hey, Linda, thanks for joining. So hang on, I am going to heat emboss this, so you'll hear a little noise. But I think the greatest part of the embossing is just to watch the magic as the powder turns. I hope you saw that as the powder just turned into a real image. Thanks for your patience with that. It's kind of hard on live video to mute that, but so that's what that looks like. And I think it's just gorgeous. The white trees in the winter. And then it's just a matter of putting that together. Hey, Muffy, thanks for joining from Delaware. I hope all is well where all of you are today, this Tuesday morning. I'm layering it on that real red cardstock. All of the measurements will be available on my blog at kimplayswithpaper.com, as well as the YouTube video of this. I'm also putting Stampin' Seal Plus on that gray granite piece that was embossed with the painted texture that goes on our red base. So once you get all the pieces cut, you can put this card together really quickly, and I think it's just gorgeous. Once your heat gun gets heated up too, it goes a lot faster than mine did. I should have done some heat embossing this morning so it didn't take so long, but once that gets heated up, it's all ready to go. Then I center that as best I can. Right, and then I need a little piece of, there are hearts on the back of this designer series paper, so I know that we're a long way from Valentine's Day, but we have to think ahead. So I'm just going to kind of cover up the trees with that. Then, of course, we need pearls, and we have cherry cobbler in the festive pearls. But so for the real red, I'm going to use one of Stampin' Up's Stampin' Blends and color some of these, I don't know, these are new. They're iridescent pearl basic jewels. They are a must-have in your craft room because you can use any of these blends to color the pearls. And if you use this tip end, you're less likely to wear out the other brush end. But you can color these and just put color over it until you get exactly the color of dark. So I'm using a dark one, but so you could, there's just tons of these colors of blends. Hey, Brenda, thanks for joining. It's Christmas in July again with the Regal Reindeer. So many possibilities. I'm just going to use my pick tool and pull these off that I've pre-colored. And that just adds just a little bit of oomph to that, to the front of that card. And it is just, I love it. All right, let's see. I've got my red ink pad. And let's just put some trees in the middle of not the middle, just as a decorate the card. You can also decorate your envelope with this as well. So just put the trees on there. There are sentiments that we could put on the inside. The one that's really good for this one is wishing you a wonderful season filled with all the good things that warm your heart and lift your spirit. So that comes with that. You could use that on the inside. I'll show you a card that I did use that on the inside. So here we go. Like I say, really quick and easy. The embossing powders are available in our catalog as well. If you need help learning to heat emboss, I'd love to help out. It's just one of those things, it's just kind of magic, and it's really so easy to do. So there is that. I really like the navy too, and there are, we could use garden green or shaded spruce. That would be really pretty too. All right, let me just share a couple of other samples that I have created with all the different elements from the Regal Reindeer stamp set and reindeer dies. This is crumb cake and garden green. So I just stamped this tree all the way across 3 times. Added the Merry Christmas and some white sequins, some garden green ribbon, and then here's the card on the inside. We stamped the trees and then the message inside. So then you just need to sign your name and off you go. All right, that's the first one. Here is another one. This uses the die cut from the reindeer dies with the trees, it's Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. The Countryside Corners dies. This vellum is the designer vellum with the dots. This actual designer series paper comes from the Inked Botanicals. And again, you can see I've used my iridescent basic jewels. They are a staple on my table right now. So that one is another. And then we've got some Lost Lagoon ribbon and the sentiment from the stamp set with Pretty Peacock. All right. And these are just more cards using the tree die cuts, the vellum, and the sentiment. There is a separate blog post on each of those if you want directions toward that. This little guy, use the reindeer die for that. Directions for him as well. And then one last card using the watercolor world and the sentiment from the Regal Reindeer stamp set. So as you can see, I barely scratched the surface on the cards that you can create from this one die set. So I hope you give it a look in the catalog. Hi, Colleen. Thanks for popping in today. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I hope all is well in your part of the world. I will see you next week. I'll just give you a quick note. It will be Monday instead of Tuesday. We'll be heading out on a 2-week road trip across the United States. But I will be checking in nevertheless. So thank you so much. If you need details on these, find it at kimplayswithpaper.com. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.